Greece is looking for ways to roll over debt as Germany worries about Euro states repaying debt. Spanish and Italy's bond yields fall, but markets are still looking for them to ask for aid. Futures are quiet as Foxconn goes back online after a one-day disruption for Apple. I'm Brittany Umar, and the morning call starts right now.
Good morning, I'm Scott Redley, Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com.
And I'm Brittany Umar with The Street, and together we bring you Morning Call Express. So European debt concerns are back in focus and weighing on U.S. markets. S&P is still holding above key moving averages, though. So what do you think, Scott? What does that signal to you?
First of all, I feel like we just get reminded every night of the headlines that Spain still didn't ask for funding. Greece is planning on rolling over their debt, but how are they going to do it? Then we get a pre-announcement from a multinational like Caterpillar. But then when you look at the chart here of the S&P, to me, it lends some confidence that we're just continuing higher. If you look at the macro chart from the reversal back here in October to this year, in June to this beautiful, just a rising channel with this cup and handle pattern, look where we are today. So everyone keeps, preaching, ranting and raving about all the problems out there, but we're still above the 8-day moving average, which is considered very constructive with pent-up momentum, above the 21-day. This kind of range here reminds me of this range that we were in as we just consolidated a really nice move off the lows. So I'd say the longer we stay above 1449 to 1415 go sideways, the more pent up longs will be, and then the more fear that will enter the market that they're going to have to chase some performance into the fourth quarter.
We are seeing a lot of choppy action over the last few sessions. Should we be practicing some restraint in our trades here?
Well, there was a lot of traders on my floor banging desks, all upset. Like last week, we noted that at this particular point, the trade has changed a little bit. You can't add to winners, and you can't short or press down. It was like yesterday we walked in, the futures were down 5-6 handles. All everyone wanted to do was short, and then we went positive. Same way on Friday, the market opened up, everyone wanted to buy, and then we went negative. So that's what happens when you consolidate. It's very choppy, but what that consolidation does, it gives you a tighter range for an entry to gauge for future movement. And right now, I think it's still constructive.
And speaking of moving higher, financials were the first group to go green yesterday. What did you make of the action you saw out of them?
I thought it was encouraging because if you remember on September 14th, when we hit 1474, the financials were the first to pull off the highs. We talked about it. The oscillator was plus 60. We were so overbought. You look at the chart of the XLF, you will see that was this day. This was a topping tail. I even think I put on a cute short. And then we've had a nice controlled pull in. First green day after trying here. So I nibbled on a little XLF. And then as far as some of the other stocks within there, I also bought just say a little Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs, little doji topping tail after a great breakout that led the financials to the upside. Little sell signal. You could have made some money on a cute short, and then right into this support, I think it was a better buy than a sell.
And despite the choppy market, Google keeps riding higher. It's your stock. What do you think about its action yesterday?
There's a lot of excitement out there in the media everywhere about Google, and I'm like, listen, don't get excited unless you were actually involved. There were about 5 or 6 strategic entries for Google. It was our high beta tech stock of the year. If you take a look here, you will see multiple strategies here. First was when it broke this mini downtrend after earnings. You could have bought it at 620. You could have bought it when it took out the year high here around 674. Then recently on this breakout here. But what I want to do is I want to show you something because if you remember this little strategic pullback when it broke through 700, a milestone, and kind of fell, touched a 21-day before blasting off. So that kind of gives me a little clues on maybe what to do with Apple.
Exactly. Now, we did see shares of Apple slide yesterday on disappointing iPhone sales, the Foxconn plant being shut down. Will we see more weakness? What are the levels to watch now in Apple?
I think at this point, you have yesterday's low of around 683, and then you have the 21-day moving average, which stands at around 679. But you have to treat that as a zone with all the high-frequency traders out there. So at this point, you've had multiple entries to get long. Some guys took some profits above 700 because milestones are always tough. You look at the chart here. This is where we are. This was, the last time that it was buyable was the day that they came out and showed the media the iPhone. That's when it held support, closed on its highs and gave you a 7-day move. So, shaking the tree a little bit isn't so bad. Here's a 21-day. Yesterday's low, like I said, 683. Here's now 680. This is where the gap starts. So I'm going to look to target as a buy here. If it doesn't hold, then maybe the speed and composure changes and we have to wait for a little bit more data.
All right, we're going to be diving into all of this and more in the long version, so stay with us.
Hi, I'm Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer for T3 Live, and I would like to invite you to join us on October 6th and 7th in New York City for our first annual T3 Live Active Trader Super Conference. The 2-day event will focus on what we believe to be the 5 keys to being a successful trader. We will teach you the strategies, tactics, and mindset we take to the market every single day, and you will leave the Super Conference with a personal step-by-step success blueprint. Visit T3Live.com and click on the Education tab on the top of the page and watch preview videos of this event. Seats will fill up quickly, so be sure to reserve yours today. My colleagues and I look forward to meeting you. Have a great day.